let's get to the first edition of the season. You want to bet some soccer this weekend? I've got you covered. Let's give you some soccer bets coming up for this weekend in the English Premier League with this edition of Nicky Futbol. So bet number one comes from the Chelsea-Bournemouth game this weekend. So Chelsea, a bit of an up-and-down start to the season. Drew Crystal Palace before the international break, 1-1. And now taking on a Bournemouth team. The last time we saw Bournemouth, in case people missed this, you probably did. They played Everton before the international break. We're down 2-0 in like the 89th minute and came back to win the game. It was like the most a team's ever been down that late in the game in the history of the Premier League that came back to win. So Bournemouth feeling good about itself heading into the international break. But they're taking on a Chelsea team that is well rested, and I think, because I've watched all three of their games from start to finish, they've got issues finishing in front of the net. They've got issues in defense, but they are always in attack. And I think that Bournemouth is going to give up goals in bunches here. So bet number one, we need to make sure, just very quickly, we think Cole Palmer. We think Cole Palmer is going to play in this game. Let's make sure on Saturday morning, like when we get the starting 11, that Cole Palmer is going to play. If and when he's in the lineup, I'm expecting it. Green light go. Blue light go on Chelsea, the Blues. Plus 105 currently the price on Chelsea to win this game. We might see Jadon Sancho make his debut at some point in this game as a Chelsea Blue after coming over from Manchester United. Best bet numero dos for Nicky Futbol this weekend in the Prem. Let's go to the North London derby with Arsenal and Tottenham. DeBundo talked about this in the last segment. Now, Anthony likes Tottenham a little bit. I think it makes sense. Arsenal dealing with injuries and suspensions. Their amazing midfield, Odegaard and Declan Rice, are both going to be out for this game. Gabriel Jesus out for this game for Arsenal, and as a result, Mikel Arteta, the excellent Arsenal manager, is going to have to shuffle his players, maybe play Kai Havertz, normally the number 9, play Havertz in midfield, which has a lot of people liking Tottenham in the game. And I'm not here to tell you that I want to bet on Arsenal. That's not what I'm saying. But what I think we will see from a really smart tactical coach in Mikel Arteta, knowing that he's not going to be able to put the usual firepower out there on the pitch against Tottenham. Tottenham can get up and down and score some goals. I think we're going to see Arsenal try and slow this game down, muddy the game up. Under 3, Arsenal and Tottenham. Under 3, minus 15, Arsenal and Tottenham. And for best bet numero tres this weekend in soccer, let's go with what DeBundo said about the Liverpool-Forest game. He's right, by the way. Arne Slot, since he came over as the Liverpool manager, replacing Jurgen Klopp, totals for Liverpool, they still have the great attackers up front led by Mo Salah, Diaz, and others. That Liverpool totals look like they did when Klopp was the manager. They're playing a different style now. Haven't conceded yet this season. Have not allowed a goal in 3 games. Let's go under 3.5 with Liverpool and Forest. So again, Chelsea to win against Bournemouth. Under 3, Arsenal and Tottenham, and the under with Liverpool and Nottingham Forest. 3 bets to start the Premier League campaign from your boy, Nicky Futbol. One of my favorite people to shout out, publicly or privately, one of my favorite people in the betting space, and one of the best guys, is our friend, the great Anthony DeBundo, who I called him off the air King Ringer the First, because since he started at the Ringer, he's doing like all these shows, he's killing it, he's writing tons of awesome columns. I can't recommend his work highly enough. Like, his writing is excellent. You've got a decent attention span, and I know people don't like to read these days, but if you do like to read and you like sports, you got to read DeBundo. Let's head over to London, North London to be exact. Big game coming up this weekend featuring DeBundo, your favorite team. That would be Tottenham taking on Arsenal. Now, Arsenal dealing with a rash of injuries and suspensions off of red card, like no Odegaard, no Declan Rice in this game. Are we going to see Mikel Arteta start Raheem Sterling here, potentially? What do you make here of Arsenal and Tottenham in the North London derby? A pretty huge match coming out of the international break.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal have just been slow starters pretty much every year under Mikel Arteta. And it's been a thing where the offense takes some time to get clicking. The attack has not been quite at its best. And now they're playing a makeshift group. I think they may ultimately slide Kai Havertz into the midfield because they brought in Mikel Merino as midfield depth and he broke his arm. He's out. So they're starting a makeshift midfield. They have to probably bring Sterling in for a start because of the fact that Havertz is getting pulled back into the midfield. And we just haven't seen Arsenal be quite at their best at this point, and Spurs haven't been either, but there's some underlying stuff I like about Spurs and how effective they've been at circulating possession, how effective they've been turning teams over. I think the market's rightly moving towards Spurs. Of course, some of that is the injuries and the suspensions. Rice, Odegaard, we saw Arsenal open minus 110. Now they're out to plus 120, 130. I actually think this should be closer to a toss-up. So I do like Spurs, draw no bet here. Of all the teams that played Arsenal last year, they played almost 50 matches. Spurs had 2 of the 4 highest expected goal production against Arsenal's defense. I think that is real. I think it's Spurs' ability to kind of muddle a match that really kind of throws off Arsenal's control-based approach. And I think the biggest thing for Spurs, the set pieces defensively have been better thus far. That was a huge weakness for them last year. They gave up 2 set-piece goals to Arsenal in the derby last year.
All right, so that's Arsenal and Tottenham. Let's talk a little bit about Liverpool, my man, with the new manager, Arne Slot. Got that name right? He's been amazing, taking over for Jurgen Klopp. Liverpool 3-0, 7 goals scored, 0 conceded as of yet. To Liverpool taking on Nottingham Forest, one of the best named teams in all of professional sports, soccer or otherwise. So do you have any thoughts on new look Liverpool here? Like, defense has been crazy through 3 games at least. And what do you make of the game coming up this weekend against Forest?
Yeah, so there's 2 kind of countervailing things in the market right now, where the market still is pricing these Liverpool totals like it's Jurgen Klopp. And if you watch them play just to the eye test, and the stats back this up, it's just very different. You saw it against United. Once Liverpool went up 3-0, it was not, let's keep the pedal to the metal, let's run up the score. It was, hey, let's be a little more reserved, let's keep possession. When they attack in transition, Liverpool would send numbers on numbers forward. They don't do that anymore. It's much more kind of, they'll pick their spots, but it's not as nearly as consistently aggressive. And when they have possession in their own half under Klopp, it was, let's get the ball forward as quickly as possible, defense be damned. Now you see them settle possession and move together more slowly, move forward more slowly. And so shots per game, Liverpool offensively down 20%. Shots allowed per game, down 25%. So all of the numbers point toward unders, and I've bet the last 2, and I'm going to bet another one, under 3.5. Forest defensively have quietly been much better than the market has thought for a couple of years now. It's just been their goalie that's been a major problem. So far, it hasn't hurt them yet. Their goalie situation is still among the worst in the league, but at 3.5 here, I just think the market's pricing this Liverpool team. They get up 2-0, they just kill the game. They're not looking to run up huge scores to the same extent. So anything minus 130 or better, I do like the under. And I do think the market just kind of underrated Liverpool. I mean, we came into the season, everybody said they're going to take a step back. They're going to take a step back. And they've looked almost arguably better. Granted, they've had better health outcomes, but they've looked better.